Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about a film that is a favorite of Tammy's, and this was her choice. So, Tammy, why don't you tell us what film we're going to be going on about?
It's Something Wicked, This Way Comes. It's from 1983. Um, the director was Jack Clayton. The screenplay writer was Ray Bradbury. And some of the main stars were Jason Robards, Jonathan Pryce, and Diane Ladd. Let's see. What is it? So the main storyline is it's set in a town called Greentown, Illinois, and there is a I guess you want to call it a circus, but it's called Dark's Pandemonium, and it's not your typical circus. So
Carnival.
It's a very mysterious, dark type of thing, which not all the townspeople realize what this is. The two boys, Jim and Will, they're the ones that start to figure out what's going on with this carnival right away, and Charles Holloway, which is Jim's father, actually is the one that figures it out more. And we'll get more into the storyline as we continue. Yes?
Don't you mean Will's father?
Yeah, I believe his name is Charles, though.
Yes, but he is Will's father, not Jim's father.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because Jim's father is actually missing in action, but shortly after a somewhat of a drowning incident that happens in Will's childhood. But we can get to that.
Right. Let's go into Boris, was this your first time watching?
Yes, it was. And I enjoyed the movie quite a bit, actually. There were several things about it that I liked. First of all, the whole theme of a demonic circus or carnival was interesting. And it also, the idea of an evil carnival somewhat reminded me of the so-called Dead Moon Circus from Sailor Moon, which is one of my favorite anime shows of all time. And also throughout the movie, I had the impression it might be one movie I saw only one scene of when I was a kid, and back then I found it kind of scary, and I didn't watch it further. And later on, I was wondering what it was, and I never found it. And now I'm watching this movie. I thought that might be it, but eventually it turned out it wasn't this one either. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it was still pretty good and interesting. I liked it.
Well, that's good. Is that it?
For the first impressions, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Kroll?
He's not going to answer the Crow.
Okay, I hop.
I would have answered. I was muted. Yeah, I recognized the name, so I'm like, it sounded familiar. I looked it up what it was about, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I saw this as a kid. when it came out. Then watching it, none of it looked familiar. But my memory stinks. So I think I watched it as a kid. I'm pretty sure I did, but just didn't remember anything about it. Or that I watched it until I read about it. So it could be the first time, but I think I've seen it. So I thought I thought it was okay. The special effects for the time I think were pretty decent.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty decent. Um, yeah, it wasn't scary. I'm sure if I watched it as a kid, I wasn't scared either, Philip. Because I only
uh,
watched horror movies, real ones, not kids ones.
uh, yeah, well, this isn't the movie that I saw as a kid that scared me.
I know
there
that's why I
was
said I wasn't scared. I watched real horror movies.
a. Are you implying I don't watch real horror movies?
Not oh, you did it as a kid, I guess. If you got scared by this little kitty movie.
Uh, no, the
Well,
movie I saw as a kid that scared me was not this. I thought it might be this, but it wasn't this.
Changing your mind. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I didn't find it scary now, and I'm like I said, I'm sure if I saw it as a kid, which I don't remember, I think I did. I wasn't scared of it, but yeah, it was fun. Although there was a few scenes where I was like, oh hell no, and I'm sure you guys know what scenes I'm talking about. Um,
right.
it didn't scare me, but it creeped me out because fuck spiders
Oh yeah, jeez, I almost
or
threw up at that
tarantulas, I
scene.
should say. Yeah, don't fuck them. Yeah, no. I swear to God, the scene in this movie was worse than arachnophobia.
Mm,
Yeah,
Of
a
no,
course,
little
they
can't
didn't
bit.
be.
have. Of course, they didn't have tarantulas and arachnophobia, but still, I've seen other movies with tarantulas, and I swear this was. I don't know. That definitely would have creeped me out as a kid as well. Give me the Wolfman, Frankenstein, Mummy, whatever. Any horror movie you think of, and it's like whatever. But give me tarantulas, and yeah, I'm good. No,
Uh, no hard feelings if anyone here likes tarantulas, but yeah, that was
if you
that's
like
too much.
tarantulas, no hurt feelings, but you're nuts.
I like tarantulas.
Well, you're nuts. But yeah, that's my first
I've even
impression.
played with tarantulas. I've held them. I played around with them.
Uh, you are
I
brave.
well, I can't stand spiders, but I like tarantulas. So
Interesting.
that's what everybody else said when my mom found out that I was playing around with a tarantula. She's like, "What? You don't like spiders?" I said, "Well, I like tarantulas."
Yeah, that is kind of a strange combination that you hate spiders but like tarantulas, or vice versa. But fair
Well, I
enough.
told you, like if a tarantula when they crawl like on you, they they actually grab a little bit, and like a regular spider gives me the willies when it touches me because it got ugh.
How the hell is all that fucking hairy, fucking buggy? Ugh. A tarantula. I'd rather have any kind of spider on me than a tarantula. And I don't like spiders either. But tarantulas are like the king of spiders, even though they're technically not spiders. But yeah, they're the king of them. Like they're the worst.
Well, let's put it this way: the first one that I held, I told you it was a big one.
Matter of fact, the scene where she's holding and she petted the tarantula, that was worse than all the other scenes.
Uh, oh yeah, when that woman appeared, my first thought was, wow, she's beautiful. But then she held a tarantula.
Which means she's also deadly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I guess that means I'm deadly because I can hold a tarantula.
Greer. What the hell's her first name?
Oh.
Pam. Oh, Pam Greer. That's who played her.
All right, should we move on to David? First impressions?
This is not my first time watching this movie. When I was a kid, this was one that my mom had taped for me, but it was also one that was on tape in my grandma's video collection. She didn't have a big, huge collection, but she liked what she liked, and this was one that whenever I was over at her place, I ended up like throwing on. And when I was a kid, it wasn't that it was scary. It
You were
had a
scared.
I wasn't scared. It had a certain creep factor to it that I liked.
Oh, I agree. It still has that creep factor with the damn spiders.
But
Uh,
Mr. Dark, just the way he spoke was kind of like handed and weird, and just some of the dialogue was just out there. So yeah, it kind of became like a cult favorite, at least in my family to watch, and I like it.
You're saying your
Even
family's a cult?
no, I said this movie became a cult favorite in my household. So
Right. So your family's in the cult.
no, get it right. Listen, get the fluff out of your ears. Anyways,
You said that it became a cult favorite with your family. What? Where's the cult? The cult is your family.
it
is
You
means
said
uh,
your
that it
family
became
started
is
a
it
cult
is
means
too.
my
that it became a classic.
Oh,
is
okay. So your family.
it,
Okay.
Became a favorite to watch in my household.
w-
That's
w-
what cult means. If you have to spell it out to 9-year-olds.
Okay, children, behave.
uh, would you say my family is a cult too?
Oh
No,
no.
Okay.
sorry,
I
is
don't.
that it,
I
David?
don't know. Uh, 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 are you gathering a bunch of like people like in some kind of congregation, like sacrificing pigs and um, burning the stake, or sacrificing virgins at all? I mean, these are things that cult people do, and they do it all in the name of God or the devil.
Yeah, we haven't done any such thing.
All right, David, are you done
or
with
some,
the
or
about
this
the movie?
dude that they call the master or whatever,
Mm,
Oh,
I'll,
is
David, I'll show you who the master is later. But are you done with the movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done. I mean, there were various points that I remember from this movie, and it's one that I like to return to. So
Okay, well, it definitely was not my first time. I remember the first time I watched this, they actually had it on TV, and I watched it. And ever since I watched it the first time, it was one that stuck in my head. I just, you know, really, really got into this movie. And there's a few things that I found out about it that you guys might find interesting. That actually Stephen King wrote a adaptation for this, and it got rejected.
whoa.
And when they say by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes, is actually from
Shakespeare.
Macbeth, from Shakespeare's Macbeth. It's
Huh.
spoken by the second witch.
I didn't know that.
And a few other neat things I found out is it was written as a screenplay in 1952. Ray Bradbury wrote this after watching Gene Kelly in Singing in the Rain.
Where do
Which,
I know the name Ray from?
Ray
huh?
Bradbury did an anthology series called Ray Bradbury's Theater, which was similar to like Tales from the Dark
May I
Side.
must have seen that as a kid too, so that
He
must be very
also
good.
he also did the book for Fahrenheit. I think it was trying to think Fahrenheit.
Well, while you're looking for that, I'll finish what I was saying. So Bradbury showed this to Gene Kelly, and Gene Kelly tried to get it to some backers, and it never did. Um,
Fahrenheit
so
451, which
Bradbury,
had an original and a remake.
I love being interrupted. So
Sorry,
Bradbury rewrote the story as a novel, and when he rewrote it as a novel, he dedicated it actually to Gene Kelly. But Disney came in and made all kinds of changes to this film compared to what it was supposed to be.
the fucking Mouse Studio and their freaking little
Hmm.
hands.
Right.
Did they add the spiders? Those bastards.
There was a thing in here about the spiders. Where was that? Well, I know that the beginning that they took out a beginning sequence that sounded really awesome. The beginning sequence was supposed to be that the carnival materializes from the smoke of the train. The smoke from the engine becomes the ropes in the canvas tents. The tree limbs grow together to form the Ferris wheel, and a spider web mutates into the Wheel of Fortune. And they decided to cut that, which I thought that sounds really wicked. But that's Disney for you.
Yeah.
So Ray Bradbury, movies that were based on his stories. It came from outer space from 1953. The Halloween Tree from 1993. Something Wicked that This Way Comes. Um, the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms from 1953. Fahrenheit 451 from 1966. And I know that Fahrenheit also had a remake with Samuel L. Jackson in it too.
Ooh, whoa.
But yeah, Ray Bradbury also did The Martian Chronicles, which was a TV miniseries, a science fiction thing that was really popular then too. So he's a big guy in the science fiction world.
Another thing too that I thought was interesting is the lines that go, and in despair I bowed my head, there is no peace on earth, I said. For hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fall, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. It's actually from I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, which is a Christmas carol based on an 1863 poem called
Cool.
Christmas Bells by a poet called Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. So I thought that was interesting. And the spider sequence, the boys actually are older. When they did some retakes on it before they released it, and the boys are actually older if you pay attention than they are in other parts of the film. So
Who? I
Yeah, I
didn't
noticed
notice.
that, which made me curious. Like maybe when they were in the circus, they actually got a little older. But yeah, that was kind of a weird scene that they were a little bit bigger.
Problem with kids is you never know when they're gonna grow.
Well, actually, too, the picture ended up being a big flop, I guess, when it was finally released in 1983. They say this is despite Disney's attempts to make it more audience friendly. If Disney would have left it alone and not screwed around with it, I think it would have been a bigger hit. But
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I mean, Disney hits and hits and hits and hits and hits. I mean, you know,
but don't you think that beginning that I told you that they cut would have been actually really cool compared to the beginning that it was? You know.
maybe.
I could
Mm.
have seen it as being something. In fact, I read that there is an original cut that Jack Clayton actually had that Disney scrapped, and apparently it's only on VHS, and that might be the only like cut that exists that the director originally had.
Which would have included that sequence.
I'm sorry. What did you
Correct.
say, Dave? Repeat that.
Uh,
Mm.
Basically, Jack Clayton, who is the director, has his cut of the original master that he had edited together that Disney, the studio, took and like chopped up and like replaced some scenes.
Oh, okay.
So, but there is an original cut out there of what it was supposed to be. Um,
Release the director's cut.
yeah, that's what I say. I say release the Clayton cut.
Now you just need to get as many people that yelled for Jack Snyder's Justice League to.
Yeah, we just need those people to get on the bandwagon because otherwise we wouldn't had the Zack Snyder cut.
Yep.
The fans were yelling and screaming for that cut. That's why
They weren't the only. I was one of them. I signed petitions and stuff, and hell yeah.
Okay, so should we get into the storyline of this now?
No.
Yeah, we.
So
Sure.
we have Mr. Dark's Pandemonium Carnival that shows up in Greentown, Illinois. And the boys find these flyers flying around that's coming. And they
You should
decide,
actually start with the dude that came into town with the lightning rods first.
okay, well, go ahead.
Well, there is a guy who, as evidently, is a traveling salesman of these cool-looking lightning rods. And I'm trying to remember what his name was. I think it was Tom Gooley.
It's Tom Fury.
Tom
I
Fury.
think.
And he's an interesting character because he's kind of a kook, but he's a friendly kook. You know, he in the novel he actually gave the right out the boat this lightning rod to I believe it was Jim Nightshade.
Oh, the homeless guy.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly.
I know, he just looked like a homeless guy. He looked like a hobo.
He was a traveling salesman of.
I know,
of
but he
his
looked like a hobo.
He did look kind of
He did.
scrappy.
He was like dirty and just yeah. He looked like somebody that you find on a park bench with a newspaper over the face sleeping.
Oh, you mean like that the dude that always seems to be drunkenly sleeping something off in Back to the Future? But anyways, yeah. Tom Fury, in this one, he actually asks for Jim to go get his father. And as we kind of learn, um, Jim's father supposedly, at least according to Jim, is off in Africa doing some adventurers or something like that, and going to bring stuff back for him. He thinks these wild stories of his father, probably because he's lonely and whatnot, and misses his dad. But in reality, I guess his father kind of just flew the coop.
Oh yeah, did we ever find out why he actually disappeared?
All we know
I
is
don't.
that he disappeared shortly after he saved Will from drowning. And it was shortly,
Oh,
we find that out later when um, Mr. Holloway is telling this story to his son.
yeah, but did we ever find out why he left?
Though
No,
that's the closest that we find out is that shortly after he saved Will's life from drowning, he disappeared.
and my assumption is that because later we also find out that this is not the first time that this carnival has shown up. I assume that you can almost like place the first time of the carnival with this disappearance almost.
I was thinking they
Oh.
killed him because he was mad that he saved his son.
But that is always the assumption that I always came up with, that okay, this carnival has been there already once. They fuck with their people once already. So I think that it's very possible that you can connect the disappearance of the father with the original show uppings of that carnival.
I don't think so because I think more people would have disappeared. Um, I think he just left. You know, um, why he left then I don't know, but I think he just left the family. You know, and
I think he left the family,
and
and
the mother was just saying that he was away to try to save face and to try to make the kid think that he's you know that his dad didn't leave up and leave them.
yeah,
It's
regardless.
Disney, so that's probably how it was originally written that he left, and Disney didn't want to do that, so they decided to fluff it up and make it sound like he's just away. He'll be back anytime and sending gifts.
Yeah. Regardless, Jim is from a broken home, and he's best friends with Will, and
Which they
evidently
definitely don't seem to have anything in
kid-
common.
they seem to be the only kids in their class.
Yeah, the only kids I know. It was funny because you see the school, and then they're talking, and then you look, okay, you guys can leave, and they're the only two there. It's like, where the hell are the rest of the kids?
Right?
Well, they got in trouble. They were in trouble for talking in class. That's why you saw them at the beginning.
Oh, that's why she called them whisperers and stuff.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So they have this teacher also that they
They used to be the most
apparently
beautiful girl
she had
in the town.
been, yeah, she had been the most beautiful in town, and you get this whole a story of each of the different townspeople. People, you got the bartender with the one leg. He used to be a football player at one point in time, and I think that's this is the character that
You mean
uh,
IHOP?
is supposed to be like Ray Bradbury's version of Gene Kelly, because he kind of looks like him, just a
He's
little.
definitely happy and cheery, even though he has one leg and half an arm. Well, 1.5 arms.
Well, then
And
we get the lonely bartender who's never had a girlfriend or wife, Mr. Crossetti,
But that's the barber, not the bartender.
the
The
barber,
barber.
the
yeah,
barber.
the barber who's never had a wife, but he's always talking about these ladies from other lands.
Oh, he knew they were coming. He said that there's good looking women coming, and we're gonna have visitors, and and he was told that he's crazy that they don't have visitors in October or any time for that matter.
And there's
And
another townsperson that evidently is very greedy and wants money.
which one was that?
Um,
Oh, I don't think he was greedy. No, the cigar,
The
the
cigars
cigar
for
seller.
Mr.
Yeah,
Mr.
he
Tetley.
was just hoping to win the $100,000 lottery. It's like, well, she will try to want to win the $100 million lottery nowadays. It's just I don't think they're being greedy because you want to win a lottery.
No, he's just a little. It says in here he's obsessed with money, and the little thing
I
about.
wouldn't say he's obsessed with money either. Again, I'm not obsessed with money, but I'd be happy to win the freaking $100 million lottery.
well, he doesn't seem only happy with what he's got, and that's what I'm gathering from this. But regardless,
Who is?
Yes, our main characters.
regardless, um,
Our main
no
characters
matter
all have
what
wishes.
Tom Fury ends up asking him to go talk to his dad. He comes out with whatever little change that he found, and he's like, "Well, what do you got?" Well, here you go. Well, here you go. And he's like, "Okay, I've got a couple of these iron, and he wants the one with the bugs on it."
Because he says they look like scarabs, and he likes that.
So
Yeah,
he
it
gives
wasn't a bug. It was a scarab.
it to him for whatever he actually gives him, which is nice because he could have like been greedy and asked for more, but I think
Well, he
he
doesn't have more, so.
it ultimately just gave him the lightning rod and
Yeah, it looked like
I,
he had pieces of paper there, not money. But
he had like $1 and some change over, but I think Tom Fury, the lightning rod salesman, he knows something's coming. He knows the storm's coming, and he knows that there's something
yeah,
more.
well, he was right. He said the house needed protection, and it did, and it did. It protected both houses somehow.
and honestly, Tom Fury is the first one that Mr. Dark actually goes after because he wants to know exactly when the lightning is going to strike. And that's one of the things that the boys end up once they get all these flyers and stuff. They visit this carnival at night and overhear and witness this Tom Fury being bound, and they're actually like forcing him to tell him when this storm is going to come, and you meet this like beautiful lady who
Pam
doesn't
Grier.
really seem to be wearing that much. Yeah, at least you can see most of her curves underneath that bridal dress that she's wearing at first. But the first time you actually see her is she's
Thought she was wearing a
actually
dancer's
in
dress.
the carnival car that the boys go into. She's hiding, and
She's
I guess
called the
she scares
Dust
them off.
Witch. Is what she's called, the Dust Witch.
Okay, yeah,
Which
and she seems to
which
be
one?
she's called the Dust Witch, I guess.
Which one?
The lady.
Uh, you get it? Which one? Which Dutch? Which one?
Yeah.
Shut up, Kroll.
Sorry, I'm trying to have a who's on first moment there.
Hoot hoot.
But anyways, the dust.
You're reminding me of when we watched the Masked Singer, and they always tell Ken to shut up. So shut up, Kroll.
But yeah, the Dust Witch actually scares them off at first, and then it's when they come back to like the second night. It is when they overhear Mr. Dark torturing Tom Fury about when this lightning is supposed to happen, and I guess whatever they've got him in is connected to some electricity, and they're trying to force him to talk and use the sexual wiles of this dust witch, which she's very mechanic. So she's almost surreal, almost when she's walking, like she's very slow and he thinks that she's the most beautiful thing ever, but um, he's obviously not going to say anything. But
Temptress.
yeah, he's tempted. But one of the boys, I believe it's Will, shouts shouts out like stop this, like he wants it to stop because it's wrong. So they notice them after that, and they run off, and Mr. Dark is like, oh, follow them, and this green mist ends up following the boys all the way home, which I guess that's when we get the spider
You
scene.
skipped the part where he had them in their clutches at the carousel. And then he let them go.
Right,
Yeah.
they got away after watching the carousel go backwards.
No, not that time. The first time when they first went to the carnival after it was open, they went and it said closed, do not enter or something like
They were
that,
playing
and they
around
went
on
they snuck in, and they were playing on it, and they were caught, and Mr. Dark caught them, and he ended up letting them go.
Didn't
Which
he
is
get
which is why I believe that he wasn't the devil. He was a demon, because the devil would have known not to let them go, because they foiled his plans. Those rotten kids.
Ooh, interesting.
well, he does let them go, but then he has the
And then
dust.
later he tells her to get the kids, because they're becoming a problem, and he needs to bring them to him.
Yeah,
So, what
it's
do you
just
guys think of all
Scooby-Doo.
of our players in here? They all got they all got their dreams and their wishes, and we're gonna find out what happens to all these little dreams and wishes of everybody. But what do you think of these townsfolk and that are in here, and Mr. Dark and the Dust Witch, and you know?
Well, I must say, since this was the first time I saw this movie, it was a little bit difficult for me to catch up on who is who, and to pair up names with faces in my head. Uh,
Well, you've got
but
the barber who wants the ladies, and he almost becomes like a statue, um, in a sense. You've got the and they dressed him up in like Arabic like robes, and then you've got the not the barber, the bartender who uh, he just wants his physicality back. I mean, he at one point in time had his leg, and I guess to get his dream, he became young again. In fact, you saw him throw a ball to Charles Halloway later, and that's when Charles realized that was who he was. And you've got the guy who uh, the cigar seller, I guess you would call him that, or I would say a grocery store or general store manager.
Why would you say that? He was only selling cigars.
Well, I thought that he sold more than just cigars.
Did you see anything else besides cigars?
I think so.
Seeing things.
Well, regardless, he evidently got like some of his wish. But see, this is like a be careful what you wish for kind of a movie, you know, because yes, you can probably get your dreams to come true, but there is always
The
a catch,
cost.
a cost. And the school marm, the school teacher, she wanted to be young and beautiful again. That came with the price of you know, her sight. So that was the beautiful blonde that you saw, Boris. That was the school
uh,
teacher.
Yeah, that I understood. But when she became young, I remember she fell down and started to crawl. What does that have to do with
She couldn't
blindness?
see. She was blind. That was why she fell down because she couldn't like see where she was going. Um,
Yeah.
Mm.
Didn't you see? She was looking in the mirror, and then her eyes went like gray,
Oh,
and it's when she screamed and
Yeah, if you were
fell
instantly
down.
blind, Boris, could you walk around your house and not fall over?
yeah, but I don't know. I had the impression like she fell down because she couldn't walk, like she got paralyzed or something. I didn't
Yeah, because
realize.
she was instantly blind. She didn't know where anything was. She was tripping over everything.
Yeah, she was blind.
Oh,
and having never been blind before, would you realize what kind of balance you had? Like, could you step forward with one foot, not realize where the ground was? You know, I mean, if
hmm.
you can't see shit, are you really gonna be able to walk a mile,
A mile.
or at least walk a distance that you're not used to walking without tripping over your own darn feet because you don't even see them?
Well, I guess I would be walking carefully and reaching out with my hands to find out what is where, so that I
How would you know
don't.
where your hands are if you can't see?
Mm, well, I
But
guess I'm
she
not
was
sure.
reaching out.
She was
Mm,
reaching out, though. So, but people don't realize what they don't. If they can't see, they lose a lot of your. You lose a lot of your sensibility of where you are, where your hands are. Everything. Thing. I mean, if you're used to seeing everything, suddenly you don't see, and it's like, okay, what the fuck? Where is everything? You know, it's
hmm.
different for those who can't see. I guess you could try to feel with your hands, but
But yeah, if you go instantly blind and then it's she's going through the trauma of being instantly blind, the trauma of it, plus she can't see, so she's stumbling over everything. Plus, she's traumatized about it.
Hmm.
people get scared when they suddenly can't see things. They're used to seeing things, and uh, well, this is a movie, but um, ultimately we have the spider scene where the spiders show up, and then um, they're crawling all over the boys. They're crawling all underneath the sheets. It looks like Will is not helping his friend Jim at the moment, and then suddenly they wake up as if from a dream.
That was one wicked dream, hey?
But I guess because of that whole thing is why Jim and Will they're being looked for by Dark and his carnival freaks. And so when they go into town, that's what they come up against. They're being hunted down where they are and whatnot. So Will calls his father and then has to hide with Jim. And there is a parade that has started through the town by the carnival, and you notice most of the people who are part of the town are in this parade, and I do believe that um
And they've
while
changed just a
they are
little bit.
huh
And they've changed a little bit. The
the
school
boys,
teacher is beautiful but now blind. You see her.
yep,
You see as Crow calls him IHOP, is now young, and he has all of his appendages.
yep, you even
And
see that Indian statue that was standing in front of one of
uh,
the storefronts as
oh
part of
yeah, the statues in this movie were quite cool. I liked them.
yeah, the Indian statue that you saw being put up in one of the fronts. I believe it was the cigar dude's place. That was marching along with this parade. Um, and the boys end up hiding in a sewer uh, underneath like one of the storefronts. And Mr. Dark comes into a bar because they notice that the bar is abandoned, and the bar owner isn't there, and they realize that the cash that he had tendered was still in his cash register. And that's when Mr. Dark comes in, and he's looking for a couple of boys because apparently they won something for the carnival. What do y'all think about that?
well, he came in and was trying to make his point, and that's when Mr. Holloway he's starting to realize things are going on, and when he goes outside, he realizes that the boys are down there, and Mr. Dark confronts him and wants him to know if he's seen the two boys, which he's got pictures of the boys on his hands, on the palms of his hands.
Oh yeah,
And Holloway said that he said totally different names for them and said that he hadn't seen them. And that's when Holloway Mr. Dark kind of makes his little remark to him. I forgot what he said now.
he said that Holloway was lying, but I don't remember it word by word.
Yeah, he says something to him that it was kind of neat.
Mm.
But anyways, we have
Um,
this moment where you can tell that Mr. Dark has some kind of power because he closes his hand on Will's face, I believe. and blood starts to appear on his temples.
Well,
And,
Mr. Dark says, and for many years I do believe all the time spent living only through other men's lives, dreaming only of other men's dreams. What a waste is what he says to Holloway. And Holloway says, sometimes a man can learn more from other men's dreams than he can from his own. Come visit me, if you wish, to improve your education. Because Holloway is the librarian. So, and Dark says, I will, and I may improve yours.
well, and whatever he seems to do seems to persuade Mr. Dark to just leave it be for the time being, because he knows he's lying, and but he cannot like find the boys just then. So we know it's coming. Uh, whatever is going to happen, and leans down to the boys and say, "Hey, visit me in the library tonight after dark."
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, that moment when there was blood on Mr. Dark's hands and when it was leaking on the boys, whose blood was that?
That was Dark's blood. He was clenching his fist so tightly that his nails or whatever made his hand bleed.
Oh,
But there was also blood on Will, which makes me think that there was a telekinesis.
It was dripping from his hand.
Oh, okay. So it was dripping
yeah,
from his hand onto Will's face.
Yes.
yeah.
I see. To me, for many years, I thought that telekinetically somehow how he like hurt Will somehow by
No.
clenching his hand, because the blood showed up, on his face like he was actually hurt.
No, it actually dripped. You could see it drip onto him. You must have
Okay.
missed that part.
Yeah, but case, they end up showing up at the library, and that's when Holloway says, "Hey, I've been doing some research here. Apparently my father was the town priest or preacher. Um, speaks or writes in his diary or journal that these townspeople have been visited by these people before. They were called the Aquarius people, if I remember correctly.
Autumn.
Right?
They were called the
The
Autumn people.
autumn people.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought that was an interesting tidbit
Yes,
that they
because
had
he
visited
accuses
before.
Dark. Tells Dark, I know who you are. You are the Autumn people. Where do you come from? The dust. Where do you go? The grave.
Which
And
is
that's
why the woman is called the Dust Witch. But what do y'all think about this next scene here, where Mr. Dark, comes in and you get that whole by prick of thorn, something wicked this way comes, and the dialogue that goes back and forth
Uh,
here.
are you talking about the scene when he was attacking the father in the library?
That and the fact that he was uh, trying to figure out where the boys were and where they would be filed under. Would it be B for boys
Oh,
or
well, that was probably the most suspenseful scene. I thought the father might actually get killed there.
well, I know Dark makes some accusations against Charles Holloway because and Holloway says that he was no one says to Dark that he was known in this town by his father. And Dark's like, your father, the preacher, that half a man, is what he calls Holloway's father.
Yeah. I knew he was going to live to save his son to make up for not saving him when he was drowning. And then he saved the other kid too to make up for the fact that, you know, the other guy saved his son.
Yep, because that's ultimately what ends up happening. But we also get you know the whole I guess Jim Nightshade's mother, as actually while the parade was going on, she had actually been solicited by one of Dark's carnival freaks to
Oh,
act.
that's who she was dancing with?
And that's who Charles Halloway ran into when he was on his way to the House of Mirrors on the carnival grounds. In fact, he told her, "Hey, just go home. It's not your husband that you're looking for." And she's like, "But they told me that he was going to be here, you know." So that part I think is a little sad because I think all these years she's been kind of waiting for her husband to come back. Like she doesn't understand why he ever left, you know. And but that's when we get him going into the House of Mirrors, and that's when he sees what dreams that the people have all like become part of in this whole fricassee of what people that the Autumn people have gathered for their revenge on this town, because that's what it is. From what Halloway figured out, they said that they would return, you know. So this is kind of like a revenge haul of souls. But yeah, you get the scenery of his son Will as he is traveling down a river, not that unlike the drowning incident when he was what 3? I think it was when he was like 3 years old. And he finally gets up the gumption to break through the mirror and the imagery and save his son. And then there he's also able to save Jim Nightshade from the carnival, and it's about that moment that the lightning strikes. Oh, and Tom Fury gets an escaping moment during this whole fandangle of things, because evidently him saving his son, evidently that like helped Tom Fury escape, and he speared the Dust Witch, which I think weakened Mr. Dark for a moment because I think that she was part of his power. You know?
Well, the whole thing is the love between the father and the son is kind of like what broke everything. You know?
Well, yeah, because they were trying to. Mr. Dark was trying to say that he doesn't want him anymore. In fact, that just get the fuck out of here, you know. And he the son was actually saying, "I love you, Dad. I love you," you know, and he heard that. And that's what broke the glass with his hand, and and saved him. And then, of course, the lightning strikes at exactly the time that Mr. Dark was on the carousel, which made the carousel go faster, and the horses that were part of the carousel became real, which snapped the townspeople out of their reverie, you know, and pretty much saved the town. And I guess the storm ended up swallowing the carnival up into the sky.
So
And
basically, the whole story is about teaching an old man that life is worth living no matter how old you are.
that, and
Be
And
careful what
stop
you.
worrying about death.
be careful what you wish for.
and
Because you might be
maybe
dead.
maybe be happy with what you have.
That too. I mean,
Yeah, see
there, there were a lot of
that one I don't agree with. You know,
Me
uh,
neither.
exactly. You know, it's like, I mean, okay, be happy for what you have to a degree, but you know, if you don't have a lot, you definitely could use more. I mean, depending, you know, you may
uh,
need more or just want more, but yeah, I mean,
Everybody's got wishes and wants and everything, and if you could make them come true, just keep in mind there's always a catch.
yeah,
yep.
yeah. Like if you ask a genie to make me rich, you know, and you happen to have an aunt that's rich, you know, he could make her die and you inherit the money. So you get your money, but then you lose your aunt. You know, something like it's just like that. That they you have to be careful how you word something. A wish, um, in a way.
Yep.
They all had wishes, but the thing is with this, it never showed them like making a deal or signing anything or saying yes, I want this. It seemed like they just got it. They just got their wishes and then got penalized for it. So
I don't know if I'm thinking of the right one, but isn't this something like Storm of the Century?
no,
Um,
ooh,
no, because
no,
that's where there was a storm.
No, okay.
And
Which one? Which one was it then?
yeah. The Story of the Century is an
Needful
awesome movie, but
Things.
yeah, nothing to do with this.
There was a
uh,
Stephen
st-
King one that they made the wishes and
oh,
they had the consequence for every wish. Wasn't it Needful
Storm of the
Things?
Century. Is it
yeah, there
what?
was something similar. Um,
Was it
that
Needful?
Needful Things was basically a curiosity shop, and and it was a Stephen King short story that went into that became a movie, and
Maybe
he
because he was
went
denied
in,
Hmm.
this one, he made his own.
yeah, um, basically, I think so.
Yeah, it followed on the same lines. They had wishes and they got their wishes, but there was a consequence
Yep,
for every wish. So it was kind of similar, but that was Stephen King's version. You know.
yep.
Yep,
So,
he's like, screw you people, I'll make my own.
Kind of.
Hmm.
but
I think
yeah,
Was
that
there
is
anything
pretty
anybody else
much.
wanted to add about things in the movie?
I mean, I know I did a lot of talking or whatnot, but was there anything that you wanted to say about any of the scenes that we kind of skated over here?
Uh, uh, Actually, yeah, there was one thing I think we skipped. The whole matter of the father blaming himself so much for not saving Will when he was drowning, and for someone else being the one to do it. what do you all think of that? I mean, I had the impression that he shouldn't have blamed himself so much because there was nothing he could have done when he wasn't able to swim.
He just had a father's guilt, you know. It's
He choked at the moment when he probably should have jumped in and saved his own son.
Well, like he said, you know, his father never taught him to swim. So if
Uh,
he had jumped in to save his son, maybe he would have saved him, or maybe they both would have drowned.
yeah.
did
So,
anybody else notice that when Mr. Dark is tearing pages out of a book and asking Holloway, "Would you want to be this age or this age or this age?" And he nods.
Yeah,
oh,
why was he tearing pages out of the book? I didn't get that.
Well, he was just um, different times, and when he's tearing out the pages, he
Different
skips
ages.
he skips age 41 and age 51.
He was doing it to represent a power that he could make him young again. And each page was an age. And he skipped a few
uh,
age pages.
Right, he skipped 41 and 51.
I kind of had
Well,
the
he was
impression
going
that
up because he was saying, you know, this is your first offer, this is your second. The offers are going lower. Better jump now before you don't have any time left. Type thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
got that.
yeah, that's the impression I got. Like he was trying to put pressure on him
Yeah,
to
yeah. He was
accept.
saying, you know, first I'm offering you age 30. Now it's 31, 32, 33. You
Yeah,
know.
and he was using the pages of the book to represent the ages.
Yeah, I just didn't get the page part, but yeah, I got the whole dialogue.
Right, because the
Well, I
father,
thought maybe he
he
just
had a bad
ripping the
heart
pages
and he was
to piss off the librarian because you know.
Oh, and also he had the Dust Witch um, have a taste with death, like
because
after he left.
yeah, because he had a bad heart.
Yeah, yeah. It did seem like she was trying to kill him because she was trying to get on his heart to stop, and somehow he survived that. I mean, like I said, I knew he would be the one to save them, but yeah.
Yeah, he only asked her to have him have a taste of death. So that's why he survived it, because if he would have had her kill him, you know, then the movie would have been like for naught. But
It would have been
at
like stormtroopers actually knowing how to hit in Star Wars.
at the end of everything, I did think that the special effects of the age process that they did for Mr. Dark on the carnival, that was cool. If we're getting into production and special effects, I did think that was cool.
I thought all the spiders invading was cool.
Well, the spiders were definitely well done. I will give them that.
Yeah, it
Oh, they
was
were well done. The
Kingdom
tricks.
of the Spiders for a moment.
Yeah, the
Mm,
tarantulas sucked.
mm, they were, for me, maybe a little too well done.
I'll have to
Yeah.
send you a freeze dried one, okay? I hop.
Uh, wait, sorry, Tammy, what did you say?
I
Don't
said
make
I
her
was.
repeat it.
I said I was gonna send him a freeze dried tarantula.
Uh, a phrase? What? I'm
A
sorry.
freeze dried.
Uh,
Uh, when
Drop
they
it.
uh,
yeah
I'm sorry. I still couldn't
That's
distinguish
okay.
that.
You're fine. You'll be okay.
Uh,
Doesn't
uh,
she was talking to
freeze
me?
dried. freeze dried is when doctors who are doing experiments like with rats and stuff like that, they freeze dry their um,
Oh, freeze
experiment.
dried. Oh,
Yeah,
I think I get it.
it's
Yeah,
like
it looks
putting.
it's real. It's just dead, but it looks alive, but it's
Oh,
dead. You know, when people collect people collect butterflies, they
uh,
they
They
freeze
stick them
dry them while
in.
they're alive, and then they put them up on the board on their board or whatever.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said I was gonna send them a freeze dried tarantula.
Uh, uh, yeah, maybe you should send that to someone who would be happy to have something like that.
I'm sure Crow would.
I'm sure you don't know my address.
I can figure it out.
Oh.
Nope, because I'm moving.
Alrighty.
You
So
said, what would
because
you do
we're
if you
on
came home and there was a big tarantula in your house? Move.
because we're
This moment.
because we're on production and special effects here, did anyone else want to say anything about the production? I thought the town looked pretty cool.
I thought the whole how they did the carousel. I thought that
Ooh.
was really neat how the carousel, you know, when they did it going backwards and the guy, you know, Cooper got younger, how they did that.
Yeah,
I thought that was really neat.
the fact that they could do time travel with a carousel.
Well, age travel kind of.
Yeah, that was interesting. Oh, by the way, did anyone notice the name of the carnival pandemonium? That it's from John Milton's Paradise Lost. That was the name of the capital of hell there.
Yeah, I believe I saw it there. John Milton's Paradise Lost was a very good prose of its time.
You read the prose version. As far as I know, it was an epic poem.
Yeah, that's what prose is.
Mm.
It's basically poetry. So it was a epic poem, just like the Epic of Gilgamesh was, and the Divine Commedia. So those were all technically poems and stanzas. So, but yeah,
Well, the
John
Iliad and the
Paradise
Odyssey.
Lost. The
Both
Iliad and the
matches.
Odyssey, yes, those were technically in Middle English poetry, yes.
Yes, they were epic poetry.
But yes,
I used to write
exactly.
poetry, but not epic.
I used to write poetry myself. So, but in any case, let us go into the music. What did we think of? Oh, there was something with the music. They actually scrapped the music and went with someone different, didn't they, Tammy?
Yeah. Uh, shoot, I just lost that. Really think.
Wasn't it John Horner or
uh,
James Horner? Looking. Yeah,
Yeah.
James. They went with James Horner, but they had someone different before that, and it's like the studio went in and like scrapped what they didn't like, and
Well,
We got
duh.
something
That's what
entirely
studios
different.
do. It isn't
I
just the
know.
mouse that does it.
They tried to make it more family friendly more than it was, and this is what we got. So
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I guess it was entirely more scary.
Yeah, they didn't want to. They didn't want to really scare the little kids.
I mean, this was one of uh, two films that I would say
The
Okay.
hell, Star
are of
Wars
the darker.
and
The,
Wizard of Oz both
the
were
original music was composed by
scary to some kids.
Georges Delarue. Was who
George's
composed?
Delarue.
Yeah, that's who composed it, and then it was rejected by Disney, and then they went with James Horner instead. But I guess portions of Delarue's score can still be heard in the
Now
film's
when it gets
theatrical
rejected, I
trails.
wonder do they still get paid?
What?
So I wonder if they still get paid. You suck doing all that work and then not get paid for it.
They probably he probably did get paid for it. For all we know, it's just
I know. It just popped in my head, so I was just wondering. But yeah, I wanted to mention something. Mr. Doc, I kept looking at him. I'm like, damn, he looks so familiar. And
Jonathan Price.
so I looked up the actor. Yeah, he's the governor in Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yep.
Obviously
Oh,
much older, and he was also the top Sparrow priest in Game of Thrones.
And he also
And
was
he's in a bunch of other shit I never saw.
he was also in James Bond's The World Is Not Enough
Like I
as
said, he was in a bunch of other shit I never saw. But yeah, I recognize the most from parts of the Caribbean. Just because God has so many freaking people that it's easy not to pay attention to any single person, with the exception of a blonde naked woman named Emily Clark, because you can't miss that.
Well, one thing that wasn't right in this is the Hollywood creature creator Stan Winston worked in the special makeup and effects on here, but he was uncredited at the end of the movie, which wasn't right.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't credit people like you look on Wiki and stuff says uncredited. Like why would they not get credit for things?
oh yeah.
and
Like it
actually it was
doesn't.
Tomorrow Never Dies that he was in, not The World Is Not Enough. I knew it
Oh,
was a Bond.
okay, then I did see that one, but I don't remember a minute.
Hey, Carl, you like this? Mechanical effects designer Isadora Raponi built fake tarantulas to augment the 200 live ones used in the spider attack.
Yeah.
So there was 200 live ones, and there was
I'm
mechanical.
glad I wasn't those kids.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're supposed to be tame or not. Yeah, you can't pay me enough.
Jeez.
I have to agree with you a little bit on that. I mean, I like tarantulas, but I don't know if I'd really want that many of them crawling all over me and coming towards me. You know, I could handle holding the one that I held, the two different ones I held at different times.
That's okay. You send me one freeze dry, and I'll send you 200 alive.
Ha
I
ha
like
ha.
me now.
But anyways, let us go into favorite scenes and
Oh,
favorite
well,
characters.
one other little tidbit I found on
Oh,
here. The carnival itself took up 2 acres of Disney's Golden Oak Ranch backlot in California to do this. So
okay.
I thought that was interesting.
Uh, I did want to say that Jonathan Pryce was also in Brazil, The Doctor and the Devil's Haunted Honeymoon, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Man on Fire,
Yeah, we all have Wikipedia.
and he was in Jim Henson's The Storyteller in one episode, and he was also
I read it all last night. I was
in
just
The
looking at the
Adventures
ones
of
I
Baron
saw.
Munchausen. So, but in any case, let us go into favorite scenes and our favorite characters. Starting with you, Tammy.
I liked Charles Holloway is my favorite character because he really loved his son very much, and he figured out what was going on because of him being a librarian. Also, he figured all this out. He found all it, and he basically was like matching wits in a way with Mr. Dark, and I liked him as a character because of he was he was good. It was like good versus evil, and he was just looking out. He was looking out for the both of the boys. So favorite scenes. I guess one of my favorite scenes is um when Mr. Cooper becomes a little boy. That that was just I thought that was so cool. I remember when I was a kid and saw it the first time, and the thing goes round and round and round, and you know, next thing you know, he's a kid. So I thought that's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay. Heading over to you, Kroll. Favorite character
Jim.
and or favorite. Oh, you like Jim Nightshade.
Yeah, he was just a cool kid, and just fun and seemed relatable like when I was a kid. You know, um, yeah, he was just a fun character. You know, the father, in the end he saved the day, but he was too mopey and stuff throughout the whole movie for me to like him that much. And his son, oh my god, he was just like like nothing made him happy, and I just wondered why Jim was even friends with him. I don't think they had him tell me they lived next door to each other. But just shows the heart of Jim. And plus, there's no other kids his age. At least not in the movie. But yeah. And as far as favorite scenes is when Palpatine let the lightning go back to him and killed him. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I mean Mr. Gray. It looked so much like
Mr. Dark.
Palpatine in the Star Wars movies with the lightning, and then him getting deformed. With the exception of him eventually being killed by it. But yeah, it definitely reminded me of Star Wars. Not that it takes much to remind me of Star Wars, but it definitely has that. Same thing about the end of Revenge of the Sith when he's fighting Mace Windu and he gets deformed, from his own lightning. It kind of reminded me of that scene, a lot. So, and I love lightning. Lightning is just freaking awesome. Fire and lightning, super awesome.
I don't like storms.
What?
I don't like storms.
You don't like what?
Storms.
Oh, I said lightning. I didn't say storms.
Well, lightning usually comes in with thunder and lightning storms. That's how it usually
But
goes.
yeah, thunder and lightning is awesome. But
I don't like it.
yeah, you and most people, I love it.
Whereas
I
on
also
the
love
other hand,
hurricanes and tornadoes and
So just
And
about everybody I know likes to sit there and watch a storm when it's going on, and I don't.
everyone I know don't. Well, most people that I know don't.
Well, actually, I
I know
like
people that
it.
like to hide under the bed like a little kid.
Oh, I don't hide under the bed. I just not happy.
They go running around barking like dogs. Stupid four-legged animals.
I know. I could never believe that when I was a kid. Baron, our German Shepherd, 150 pounds, solid as a rock, German Shepherd. You know, if he barked at you, usually you'd be afraid of him, right? He didn't like storms. That dog would go and hide.
No dog does. No matter how big and tough they are.
Whereas my favorite character will always be Mr. Dark in here. For some reason, I like
The governor?
that. Yeah, I like Jonathan Price in here. I mean, the way he
He
talks
did a
about
great job. He was a good villain.
the way he talks about his people is the way that I think about. If you've ever seen Doctor Sleep,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
the way that the shiny the shining the shiner eaters, I would call them the eaters of the shinings, the people who shine.
The ghost.
Uh, they're not the ghosts. I would call them the eaters of the powers in the people who shine. He reminded me of those people, and when he came into the library and he spoke about the hunger, you know, trying to look for the yes, we are the hungry ones. Your torments call us like dogs in the night, and we do feed and feed well. You know,
Oh, he was definitely I mean, he was fine as the governor in Game of Thrones, but I think his acting was really good here. But obviously, he was more in he was in his early 30s when he did this movie. So, yeah,
tasteless fare, funerals, bad marriages, lost loves,
he's
lonely beds.
75 now.
That is our diet. We suck that misery and find it sweet. We search for more always. We can smell young boys ulcerating to be men 1,000 miles
Michael
off,
Jackson.
and hear a middle-aged fool like yourself groaning with midnight despairs from halfway around the world. But anyways,
It isn't just the lines that he said.
my
It's the way he delivered them.
yes, I liked his dictation. That's for sure.
I just can never. I don't usually have a villain as my favorite character, with a few exceptions. When the good guys just really suck, like in that the Turkey movie. I had to
Well,
make it the Turkey because
I,
he was funny.
I, I hope you also rooted for the villain in Succubus Hellbent.
No,
What?
the villains got killed.
Uh,
She killed them all. She was the hero.
yeah, but I mean, since she was the killer, she was kind of supposed to be the villain, but you
Says
can't
who?
help.
So you're trying to say the Punisher? The Punisher is a villain. Batman's a villain. Or Batman used to kill people. The original Batman. No, I don't think.
Yeah, I
I don't
get
think
it.
anti-heroes are villains.
Mm, good point. Yeah, I guess it's in that movie the
I
main
mean,
character is
some
yeah.
people's
Well,
point of view, they might be villains, but not mine. So you know,
oh, fair enough.
But my favorite scene or scenes, I do like I do like any scene with the dust switch in it. Um,
Oh yeah.
uh, I do like the mirror scene where he's showing him all their wishes and the townspeople wishes, and I do like the parade.
it was kind of cool actually when he pulls his son out of the mirror and it was like water, so it was like he actually was saving him from drowning, like he wasn't able to the first time. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
did
cool the
like
way they did that.
and I did like what happened to Mr. Dark at the end. At the end, I did like that.
Yeah,
Like
and to be fair, like what Tammy said with the carousel, that was cool.
it was unique.
Did we get Philip's favorites?
I think
No.
I think not. So let's go to
Yeah,
you.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, well, my favorite character, who it's kind of difficult to choose. Like you, Crow, I did like Jim, but I also liked Charles, as Tammy says. So maybe it would be one of those two. Although I also kind of liked, although for different reasons, the women in the carnival. Although actually, I'm not sure if it was maybe even one and the same woman, just in different outfits. The woman in the black veil and the bride, was it the same person or not?
Yeah, that was the same person, but
Oh, uh,
um, that was Pamela Greer. Um, but yeah, I think it was different women up on stage when they were like, you know, on the barber and somehow made him naked and stuff.
ooh, yeah. Well, I did like her, maybe not so much as a character, but she was really
Oh yeah, I
beautiful.
definitely
So,
appreciated her body.
oh,
You have to be blind
yeah.
not to. I mean, I've seen her in other stuff later, and she definitely doesn't have the same physique as she used to have. Um, I mean, she's not ugly, but yeah, she definitely didn't age as well. But she was definitely very hot there.
Oh yeah. And my favorite scene, well, I think it would probably be the scene when they bring Jim back to life because I think that's a pretty creative concept that they in a moment when they were afraid that he might be dead, they actually had to be happy in order to either keep him alive or bring him back to life. Actually, I'm not sure if he was dead before he woke up or not. But yeah, that was really interesting. While Will was scared that Jim might be dead and he was upset because of it, the father told him, "No, you must be happy because sadness is what they feed on." So he started to cheer like he was happy about something, and that was what led to Jim waking up. I thought that was. Pretty well done and pretty creative. And if if we imagine, okay, that's a fantasy movie, so it's impossible to happen in real life. But if you somehow found yourself in such a situation, it would take a lot of how do I say it in English? Tricking your own mind to make yourself believe that you are happy when you are actually very much scared and worried that someone you care about might be dead. So uh,
It's
I
actually it's actually called drinking your own piss here. Why that's the saying? I think drinking your own wines would sound way better. Even though I'm not a fan of wine, but I think I would definitely drink wine before my own piss or anyone else's. But yeah, so yeah, that's
Uh,
the saying here.
Interesting. I didn't hear that saying before, but
Well, there's a lot
yeah,
of
that
things I haven't heard.
uh, I think that was probably the okay, maybe not technically the best done, but as an idea, the most creative scene in the movie.
Okay. So I think that is pretty much it for our discussion. I know it was a weird one, and
Says
uh,
Jason.
yeah, this was not my pick this time. So I'm glad that we were able to cover it. Um, so unless anybody else has
Oh,
anything else to say, and I think we lost uh, our friend here for a moment. I'm
oh
guessing he'll be back.
yes.
But
I'm glad we kind of rearranged things a little bit because it ended up kind of being a birthday pick for me because my birthday is Tuesday. So
Yeah, I realized that. I realized that. Of course, you know, your birthday pick would have been next week. Anyways, we'd gone the other way. So either way, you would have gotten a birthday pick around your birthday.
yep.
well, my birthday pick for the other show tomorrow is First Night. So
Is what?
First Night.
First of night.
Oh yeah, good movie, great movie. I definitely seen that, and I definitely remember that seen that. But it's a
Hmm.
King Arthur movie. I've seen. I mean, I can't say I've seen them all because there's way too many to count. You know,
That's always been one of my favorites too. So
but I've seen them all. Yeah, Sean Connery.
But
I like Sean Connery and Richard Gere looks very nice in this movie.
I roll
alrighty.
my eyes at you. No.
So I think we have pretty much discussed this film. Hopefully, the audience out there has enjoyed our discussion, and definitely go out and see the movie if you have not. I know it's not really on any streaming service at the moment. Uh, Probably.
YouTube. It's on
Uh,
YouTube.
it's on YouTube.
Yep, that's where I watched it.
Okay.
Yes, I was very disappointed it was not on Disney Plus. I'm like, what the hell, Disney?
It's a Disney movie. It's one of the Disney movies that is not on Disney Plus that they're trying to sweep under the rug. They're ashamed of it.
Yeah, they actually made a bunch of movies in the '80s that were for kids that were on the horror side.
Yeah,
they
and
they kind
I
of
believe
they stopped doing that. They don't do that anymore. And
I
they
believe
were
The
all
Watcher in the Woods was another one
Uh,
that
sorry, Dave, which one?
I believe around the same time or ish, The Watcher in the Woods.
well
Uh,
they did redo
Watcher
Escape
in
from
the
Witch Mountain,
Woods.
which was definitely not exactly scarier, but definitely a fun. They need to. I think I'd like to see a remake of Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Not that the original wasn't great, but yeah, I'm just wondering what to do with it. That was a favorite as a kid.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
was a favorite of mine when I was a kid too. Uh, that and Mr. Limpet. uh, which were fairly similar because they did do like cartoons and live action mixed together, and
Yeah, I
I think
remember it.
that aspect
Hmm.
of Disney's film history.
It wasn't a favorite of mine. I liked it, but yeah, it wasn't a favorite of mine.
But yeah, uh, The Watcher in the Woods was another Disney dark movie that not too many hear about, but or remember. but I remember it, and I know that
Very
Melissa
interesting.
Joan Hart actually directed the remake, so which was interesting and whatnot. So, in
Hey
any
Dave,
case,
I got a movie related question for you that folks might want to know about too. How long does it take before property becomes public?
Good.
I guess that depends upon the copyright. I mean, I know it's like every 10 years. I think they've
So
got
does the
to.
company have to do something to retain?
Yes, they have to rebuy the copyright like every 10 years or so, or something like that.
Okay, because I've I've heard of a few things that are like big that coming
Yeah,
coming out, and it
like Winnie
just
the Pooh went
yeah,
into.
exactly, and it just makes me wonder, what would happen if Star Wars ever did. But if it's a matter of rebuying the copyright, I'm sure Disney will forever rebuy the copyright for Star Wars, even though they fucked it up.
Yeah, they did.
I think it would be interesting to see where the Star Trek and the Star
I
Wars
said
world.
Star Wars. We didn't say the Trek. They're not
I
related. They
mentioned
have nothing to do with each
both of
other.
them because
They
both of
just
them
both
are
have the
really
first word
strong.
star in it.
They are both really strong worlds. So, and
But who
they
cares
are
about Star Trek?
always in
We're talking about
competition.
Star Wars, you Trekkie.
Uh, uh, Kroll, are you getting Sheldon Cooper about Star Trek and Star Wars?
No, I'm getting Ron Thurber about it. There was no Sheldon Cooper when I was a little kid, and I fought with people that liked Star Trek. Those fucking weirdos.
Well, anyways, we should end this
Like
discussion,
my
and you
uncle.
guys can do that. Your
Yep.
discussion afterwards.
So, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the movie and our discussion down in the comments, and we'll be back next week with, I believe, Ron's pick. Correct?
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes, the 4-hour movie, which we all know Boris loves 4-hour movies.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
he loves the
Uh,
extended movie time. That's for sure. So, that being said, we'll be back next Sunday, uh, and hopefully you'll be along with us for the ride. So, everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Ciao.